Hello. I haven't uploaded a video in weeks because I just didn't feel like it. But well, it looks like I have to make something because Ironmouse reacted to one of my videos, specifically the one about her boss, the gun run. Number one, ew. Look at that. I look gross. Yeah, you should skip. Yeah. Number two, why was I wearing that shirt? That's a shirt for a hardware store. And number three, ew. Why are you watching my video? Well, anyway, I guess I have to ride this momentum, if there's any. Fortunately, IShowSpeed is in the country as of this recording, or has he left already? He passed by Binondo. Here he is at Bondo Church. This is my neighborhood. Yeah. By the way, that building, I gotta make a video about that building. Yeah, he's IRL streaming throughout Metro Manila. And here's one I want to talk about. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The whole cat show pao thing. Why meow meow? What? This is that's cat meat? What, really? And then, it turned out to be a prank. I want to explain this. What's the context behind the whole cat meat thing? That's siopao. That's a meat bun. We call it siopao. Most of the Chinese immigrant population here are Hokkien speakers. Binondo is the oldest Chinatown in the world. It was established around 1594. Yeah, 1594. So it is exactly 430 years old. As you can see, we're Hokkien speakers primarily. But we don't call it siumai, we call it siomai. IShowSpeed ate siopao, which is a meat bun. If you played Sleeping Dogs, you know what a meat bun is.
A man who never eats pork buns is never a whole man.
Funny enough, this also says Shanghai pork bun. Same as this shop. This is Shanghai fried siopao. It's right there in Nongpin. It's a famous place. Now, while there have been Chinese people in the Philippines for a very long time, during the 20th century, there was an influx of fresh off the boat Chinese immigrants, including my father, and then later on in the Cultural Revolution, my mother came. And a lot of us Chinese Filipinos are descendants of those immigrants during the 20th century, and they established businesses. A lot of them sold food, including siopao. And there grew a rumor. Immigrant communities all the time get discriminated against. This is true all around the world. The common myth with Chinese businesses, like they like to cut corners, they like to do certain things to generate more profit. They would round up stray cats, allegedly, butcher them, grind their meat up, and put them in siopao. That was the myth. This is a myth that pervaded for a very long time, and nowadays it still persists, mostly in jest. But yeah, it's still pretty harmful, gotta say. Nowadays, Chinoys, Chinese Filipinos, don't get as much discrimination because, well, we're living in better times now. Previous generations worked really hard, and most of us are pretty much assimilated. And the cat meat thing is a lot like the MSG myth in America. They put MSG in their food, and that makes people sleepy, stuff like that. But it turns out this isn't just, a Filipino thing. This is also a myth in America and in England, throughout the world. Like the chop suey has cat meat in it, stuff like that. It gets tiring after a while. Koreans eat dog meat. There's that too. This legend is a classic example of xenophobia. Asian culture is markedly different from Western culture, or in this case, Chinese culture is markedly different from Filipino culture. Customs, religious observances, traditions, all wildly different from their native counterparts. As with all xenophobic reactions, that which isn't the same is vilified. It's not just in America, it's here as well. As you can see here, still elicits a strong reaction. That's the context, but discrimination against Chinese immigrants still persists to this day. Even Chinese against fellow Chinese. There was an influx of new immigrants during the 90s and 2000s. Most of them Mandarin speaking, and they're very different from the Chinese that have already assimilated here in the Philippines. There's the whole thing about Chinese tourists being ill-mannered. Well, these immigrants are also the same. So there's like a cultural divide. It's very interesting because we're all Chinese and yet, we're very different. There are those who we'd like to call Lanang, our people, and then there's the Taidyoka, the mainlanders from mainland China. Like my mother. My mother hates them and she has to deal with them, which is weird because my mother speaks Mandarin with an accent. She's a very thick, like a provincial accent when she speaks in Mandarin. And me, I recognize like every 2 to 3 words, but I'm not very fluent in Mandarin. But yeah, that kind of racial discrimination still goes on, and it's kind of sad. But it's hard to avoid, and you have to constantly remind yourself, look, don't stereotype. Like that kind of behavior is harmful in the long run, but that's just how it is when cultures clash. It's a commonality among immigrant communities throughout the world. Yeah, in the meantime, Speed is getting knocked out by Manny Pacquiao because, like, there's something about people who don't train in martial arts and combat sports, but they like getting hit. I guess they just want to feel it, they get punched. They let them punch them in the arm. They let pro wrestlers chop them across the chest. They let Muay Thai fighters kick them in the leg. They're just body sparring here. He's really winging it. Oh, timed it. Good counter by Senator Pacquiao. Yeah. I have a really old video about Manny Pacquiao. Maybe you want to watch that one. Anyway, that is all for now. Till next time, stay Tor.